Um, as Chris said, yes, I'm with Foundation for Community Dance, and we're taking a lead on supporting DTAP to develop these national occupational standards. One of the first things that I can imagine in your minds that you'll have seen professional standards and you'll have seen national occupational standards. What's the difference between them and what are we talking about? So that's the first thing that we all need to be thinking about. Professional standards refer to competencies in dance leading that we agree as a sector, any of us could get together and develop professional standards, and in a way that's the stage that we're at. That's what we're doing now. It's a kind of functional analysis really of what competencies we need to be able to do the work that we need to do. And we're talking about dance leaders in the community, so absolutely anybody who is deciding that they are qualified to take a lead in dancing with other people. And you could be volunteering, you could be employed to do that, but we think that there's some basic standards that are needed here. When they become national occupational standards, they have to go through quite a rigorous process. So the points are down here. Basically, we are working with creative and cultural skills, and Helen is somewhere in the audience, hopefully. She's standing at the back there. Helen Hart is Senior Advisor for National Occupational Standards at Creative and Cultural Skills, and she will be working with you in one of the breakout rooms. So if you have really detailed questions, Helen's the person to ask about National Occupational Standards, if I can't answer. Also, to say that actually the process that we've gone through, obviously Chris was saying last year we got the funding in April 2009, so this process has been going on. We've been talking about the language for some time now. We brought together a core group, and this core group has been supporting the process all the way through, and it's made up of people who are on the DTAP committee, but also much more widely as well. We've got dancers on this committee too. And Ruth Till, who's down here, is the chair for that group, and she's been supporting this process as well. So we've, as a result of that process, of that group coming together, we've actually developed a group of standards so far, which we're going to reveal to you in about 5 minutes' time in the breakout rooms. And your job today, this is where we're getting into practical things, your job today will be to help us to have a look at those standards, have your critical heads on, even though it's beautifully sunny and we could all be laid back and say, yes, we agree to all of this. We kind of don't want you to do that. We want you to have a look and see whether it does apply to your situations. It's important that everyone feels that they can have a stake in it. So in your packs you will find little post-it notes and things like that. I'll take you through the exercise that's going to happen later. So in your packs you will find these key roles. You've perhaps seen them already. And it might be worth us just going through them just to say this is the system by which we've been hanging the coat hangers, if you like, for hanging the standards on. It's a cyclical thing. It's a journey of the dancer. So it's starting at key role A with your pitch, really, and that's to do with integrity and honesty about who you are, what you know, not claiming to be an expert in a particular style of dance if you're not. So that's kind of just articulating who you are. And there's a whole, there's about 5 or 6 standards per thing at the moment. So you'll see what they are. You can kind of add into that if you feel there are other things that you should be doing right at the beginning of the journey. Key role B is to look at how you then make that happen more externally. So it's going from the internal, what you've been thinking about, what you can do as a dancer, and who you want to take this dance to and why. And you're taking it then to a dance agency, or you're taking it to a school or a residential care home, whoever you've got to talk to make this thing happen. They're the relationships and the skills that you need to develop those relationships is what Key Role B is all about. Key Role C then is deliver effective dance leadership and engagement, and I imagine this is where there might be quite a lot of heated debate. This is the in-the-room stuff. This is the technique and skills that you have to, whether you're leading dance and you're leading steps and you want people to learn those steps, or whether you're extracting movement from someone. It doesn't really matter whether you're working in that creative way, collaborative way, or whether you're working in within a more hierarchical structure. It really doesn't matter. But the defining point here is that actually you are doing that in a safe and effective way, in a safe and effective manner. So you need to think about really what that involves, and I suspect that there may be more standards there than are currently sitting there at the moment. So have a look when you get into those rooms and really sort of unpick that. Coming round on the journey again then is developing effective frameworks for evaluating effective dance practice with people. That one is all about really what you do in the room, gathering evidence from a group and looking at the impact. You know, how do you know that this is having any effect for people? How do you know that the learning and development is happening for people? So it's having the knowledge in that area to be able to do that, and also to work with any stakeholders and any impacts that they're looking at, whether you're having a social impact or any other kind. And finally, Key Role E is just simply to reflect on and develop your own. This is self-awareness. It's your own CPD and how you take responsibility for any gaps you've got in your knowledge. Once you've gone through this process, actually, what did that tell you about your practice as a dancer and as a dance leader? What could you improve on? What might you go and find CPD in? What resources might you try and kind of put into place to support you, perhaps pass over some of the responsibility to someone else, if there are other partners that could help you in other areas? So hopefully that gives you an idea of some of the thinking behind each of that key roles. Does that support people to understand those? They should be fairly self-explanatory, but you know, just felt like we should go through those points. Okay. So finally, our task. Just go in there and talk about what you think experienced practitioners should be competent to do and what we should all have as a basic. We've been advised that actually the basic level is the most important thing to get right. So if we concentrate on that, that'd be really helpful for today. And as a final note, I just want to point out that we had 5 different groups consulting last year, 1 on criminal justice, 1 on disabled people, 1 on older people, 1 on young people, and 1 in health settings. Now, all of those specialist settings met separately and they came back, and the most interesting thing about this research was that they all came back with pretty much the same standards. So we're actually just talking about advanced practice and basic level practice, and that's kind of what we need to sort out between us, what that basic level is, what does everybody need to know.